Well, guys, I come to you with good news and bad news. The good news is it's time for Snack Size DFS. The bad news is this is the last episode of Snack Size DFS until the 2025-2026 NBA campaign. It's been an amazing debut year for Brenton Eckersley's Snack Size DFS show. I'm so proud of what he's built here, the number of subscribers that his show has built into the Old Man Squad network, and folks that I know are going to be watching these shows when he does them all of next season. Thanks so much for joining us. Make sure to subscribe so that you get those going into next year. And also make sure to check out our friends at My Bookie. The Masters are back and there's money to be made. It's golf's most iconic tournament and it tees off today. And My Bookie is the ultimate spot to cash in on every swing, every upset, and every Sunday charge. You got outrights, you got matchups, you got live betting, you got long shot bombs with My Bookie money bag. And if there's an edge, you'll find it. Not only that, this weekend's also UFC 314. If you're new to My Bookie, I've got something you're going to want to take advantage of. Deposit any amount, $50 up to $2,000, and get a half match deposit bonus instantly with our promo code MM50. MM50 is the promo code. That's how they know who sent you. No waiting. You don't need to bet anything to get the 50% bonus. You put the deposit in, the bonus cash, bingo bango, right away. So if you've got a read on Augusta, green jacket time, or just looking to take advantage of a Michael Chandler boost for UFC 314, I have to admit, I don't know what the hell that means, but now's the time to fire away. Bet anything, anytime, anywhere, only with My Bookie. Brenton, let's make this last one count, baby.
Welcome, everybody, to Snack Size DFS. My name is Brenton Eckersley. I live in Adelaide in South Australia, and this is a part of the Old Man Squad Fantasy Sports Network. This is my last recording for the season, 24-25. I do not mess with playoffs too much, to be honest, in DFS. I just find there's a little variability in what actually happens in those lineups in playoffs. So I tend to limit my interest in DFS during playoffs. This is the last week of regular season, of course. And the last two games, everybody plays. Every single team plays on the 2 days left where there are games on. So I can't possibly keep that down to a snack size episode. So unfortunately, this is my last episode for the season. I want to thank you all for your amazing support. This is obviously a new thing for Old Man Squad Network this season. I have been proud to be a part of it, and I have absolutely loved your support from day one. And yeah, we'll see you next season. But this is the last day for me. It is the Thursday, April the 10th game card. It's a beautiful card. I love this. 5 games on. This is right in my pocket. I love to play DFS when we have 5 to 6 games on. I find that's where I'm most successful, I guess. And yeah, so it's a beautiful one to finish the season for Snack Size. Let's just make this bigger so I can actually see what's going on here. Okay, 5 games, as I mentioned. Let's jump in. Thursday, April the 10th game notes. The 2 fast games of the day, Cleveland taking on Indiana, already toted at 243. That'll be the quick one of the day. Memphis and Minnesota also getting up there at around 232. The slow game of the day, New York taking on Detroit. Both teams very, very slow for game pace, so less fantasy scoring there. Attack and stack. So the teams we can attack here, Brooklyn and Atlanta, playing each other in that game. And also we can still attack Memphis. So Minnesota will be a nice team to look at here. Pace bumps for the day. Brooklyn taking on Atlanta, get a massive pace bump taking on the Hawks. And Minnesota also get a nice pace bump taking on the Grizzlies. Game 1. Worth mentioning, because every single team plays on the Friday games. Every team is on a Thursday, Friday, back-to-back here. So Let's jump into the New York-Detroit game. This will be the slowest game of the day, I would imagine. For the Knicks, Anunoby and Josh Hart ruled out already. Also Mitch Robinson, but he is of little consequence to us for DFS at the moment. Jalen Brunson's price of 8,800 is a nice one. I feel like I have better options down the board than Brunson in this slow pace and also a tough defensive matchup versus the Pistons. He has dropped some high scores versus Detroit this year. So 50 and above 3 times in the 3 games that he's played Detroit. So I don't mind Brunson here. I feel like we do have guys around this price that are in better places for matchup and also pace, but a contrarian play, maybe a GPP play for Jalen Brunson at 8,800. With Hart and Anunoby both out, I expect Mikal Bridges to just soak up a bunch of shots here. More rebounds with no Hart on the court. 5,700. I like this price for Mikal Bridges. Definitely my favorite play for the Knicks here. And Precious Achiuwa needs to be mentioned at 3,300. He should get a start here as well. We know what Tibbs is like. He'll probably play these guys into the ground. So if Achiuwa gets the start, he's likely to get around 30 minutes, maybe even over 30 minutes with no Hart. Once again, more rebounds there with no Josh Hart on the court. So I like the low price of Precious Achiuwa here. The other guy you could look at and who will probably get the start is Miles McBride. 5K. Look, we saw Brunson out for a large section in the last couple of the months. And unfortunately, McBride just did not really get it done for us in DFS land. He was okay in season-long fantasy with peripheral stats, etc. But I am cautious with Miles McBride having limited upside. Let's look at the Detroit team back the other way. At the moment, we have Cade Cunningham ruled in, and we also have Tobias Harris ruled in, and that's a big one for me. Harris tends to be a marker for some upside for other guys. When he comes back in, that upside all seems to disappear for guys like Asar Thompson, etc., Malik Beasley. So with Harris back in, it does limit who I'm looking at here on the Pistons. And we also have Isaiah Stewart questionable, by the way. Cade Cunningham himself at 10-5. He has had 2 mediocre games and 1 ceiling game versus New York this season. Look, you'd be obviously crossing your fingers and your toes that it would be a ceiling game here. He did have 71 DK points versus New York. I'm okay with it, but I think that once again in this tough, slow matchup, we just have better options down the board. You could absolutely play Cade here, hope for that ceiling game, and I wouldn't blame you for it. The only other guy here I'm looking at on the Knicks team, and that is mostly because Harris is back in. I've peeled away the Malik Beasleys and the Asar Thompsons from my thinking. Tim Hardaway Jr. at 4,500, absolute pinata play for sure. He is highly shot dependent, but 4,500 probably remains underpriced if he can get some scoring going. We know he can score threes and points in bunches. Not many peripheral stats, but I don't mind a pinata stab at Tim Hardaway Jr. if you happen to have to land at this kind of pricing to fill your spot. Cleveland taking on Indiana. As mentioned, this is the 243 game total, so it's a nice place to attack if you're looking for a few bonus DK points here. Wild stuff going on with Cleveland. I mean, they don't really need to win here, so I totally get it. But we have Darius Garland, Donovan Mitchell, Evan Mobley, and Max Strus already ruled out for this game. Obviously, that opens up a heaps of value for us. The 3 guys I really like. 2 I like more. The third one would be more of a, slot filling play if you needed to land at his price, and that is Jarrett Allen at 6,500. He does have some good upside on his night. The Indiana matchup at center isn't too bad. He will get some extra usage here. 6,500. I don't mind it. It's just more of that if you have to land here, he probably won't burn you kind of play. The 2 guys I love, though, Ty Jerome, we obviously have guards out. We have Strus out. Ty Jerome and DeAndre Hunter should both start here. 4,700 for Jerome. No Garland, no Mitchell. Minutes and points up and usage up the wazoo, basically. So he's probably one of my absolute favorites favorite low-priced guys on this card. He will be chalky. Everybody will be playing him, of course, but I don't think you can afford not to have him in your lineups. DeAndre Hunter, a little bit more risky, I guess. 4,300 price tag versus the 4,700 of Jerome, but I just love Jerome's upside here. He can get you like 50 DK points if he's absolutely cooking. DeAndre Hunter could do the same. I just prefer Ty Jerome here. Oops, I forgot Indiana. Let's go back. Not much on the injury report here for Indiana. Only Brad Shepard listed as questionable. I'm not playing Tyrese Halliburton at his price here. I prefer Pascal Siakam at 7,600. In this pace-up game, we have no Mobley on the other side of the ball now. Yes, Jarrett Allen is still there. But I love Pascal Siakam in this matchup now with no Mobley. He is absolutely cooking at the moment. His last two games versus Washington and Utah, 47 and 50 DK points. I probably don't expect that here versus Cleveland, although it could happen with, Dean Wade on the other side of the power forward spot. So 7,600 is a great price here, I believe, for Pascal Siakam. And the guy you can take stabs at here, I did look at some other guys, Mathurin, etc., Nemhard, but I believe Aaron Naismith would be my go-to guy if I needed to land at this spot in this game. 4,500. Yeah, he's a yo-yo scorer. I think he has a little bit of upside here in a pace-up game, in a fast game. Mid-teens floor is the issue. He can absolutely burn you for 15 DK points, but he also has mid-30s upside. Not a bad spot for Aaron Naismith. Atlanta taking on Brooklyn. Okay, so obviously we still have back-to-backs here. Every team is playing Thursday, Friday, back-to-back. The only guy on the injury report for Atlanta at the moment is Trae Young, 9,900. I love it when I see Young's price dip under 10K, and this is a smash spot versus Brooklyn. At the point guard position, I expect this to be a floor value price for Trae, and he could cook here for 60 DK points. Onyeka Okongwu, love this play as well, 8,400. He is absolutely steamrolling at the moment. His last 4 DK point outings, 50, 15, sure, that's a low one, but then 50 again, 62. And he is also playing Brooklyn at the center spot. His last few games, he is putting up, he can generally put up in the teens for field goal attempts. His last 2 or 3 games, I want to say, closer to 20 field goal attempts, which is awesome for Okongwu. The last guy I want to talk about for the Hawks is Karis LeVert, 4,500. He is your pinata play. He seems to just be getting the minutes over those other Hawks, peripheral wings, Ricochet, Krejci, Nyang, all those guys. So with a solid minutes floor, I don't mind this pinata stab at Karis LeVert for 4,500. On the Brooklyn side of things, Keon Johnson will be back in for this game. Cam Johnson, D'Angelo Russell, and Day'Ron Sharpe. I always want to say Shaden Sharpe. It's Day'Ron Sharpe at the center spot, all out here. So Cam Johnson, D'Angelo Russell, Day'Ron Sharpe, all out. So with Keon Johnson back in, I love this with no D'Angelo Russell, no Cam Johnson, 5,900. The usage and minutes should be all his here. He is capable of 35 to 45 DK points, and 5,900 for Keon Johnson is just too cheap. Trendon Watford, 5,400. Once again, we have guys out here. It's a fairly safe floor price here for Trendon Watford. He does have a little bit of upside. It's not too much upside, but Atlanta at the power forward position right now is a good place to target as well. The other guy I want to talk about is Drew Timme, 4,600. He is coming off the bench, but he is getting 25 to 29 minutes in his last 4 or 5 games. So Brooklyn, obviously, are no longer in it, no longer really care about this season. They're seeing what Drew Timme can do off the bench, and he's doing quite well. He has a fairly safe floor. I think he has lower upside than Trendon Watford, to be honest. But if you need to land here for Timme, he does get a lot of peripheral stats and can still score. Good player by the looks of things. Let's go on to the 4th game. It's the Pelicans taking on Milwaukee. Alvarado, Bruce Brown, and Yves Missy all questionable, which obviously opens up some things if those guys don't play. We already have Kelly Olynyk ruled out, and therefore I really like Carlo Matkovic in this matchup. 4,600. Love the play, love the price. No Olynyk, and especially if Yves Missy can't go. Keep an eye on that news, because if Missy can't go as well, Matkovic is going to get 30-plus minutes here and smash through this spot. Alvarado himself, questionable, very limited minutes in his last game, which is actually unusual for Willie Green. Tends to push his guys through and try to get a win no matter what the tanking position is for the Pelicans, which is frustrating as a fan sometimes. That this makes Alvarado only a pinata play for me. Seeing him only play 23 minutes versus Brooklyn in a close game in the last one has me very worried. If Alvarado can't go, then we saw Elfrid Payton. Actually, Alvarado played in the last game, obviously, but with his minutes down, Elfrid Payton is an assist king. He does get peripheral stats, and if he could just put some points on the board, put the ball in the net a couple of times, his price, which I haven't listed there, I believe it's still in the under 4K. He had 30 DK points in that last one, and he would be your go-to if Alvarado is out. Antonio Reeves, I love this guy as a Pelicans fan. They're giving him plenty of run at the moment. He is only priced at 4K. 30-plus minutes in 3 of his last 4 is all I need to see. Double-digit field goal attempts nightly now, which is also what I love to see. At this price of 4K, I definitely like Matkovic and Antonio Reeves in this one versus Milwaukee. For the Bucks, Giannis is probable. Pat Connaughton is questionable. Giannis is high price. He's had another little price jump. I think it was $100 price jump again. Look, honestly, to make this worth it for Giannis, he's been absolutely cooking teams with no Dame Lillard in there. But the Pelicans would need to keep this close, and the Pelicans haven't really been keeping it close after halftime with anybody. So I find this pretty risky. I'm probably not paying up for Giannis in this one due to the potential blowout. Bobby Portis, though, 5,700. He came straight back in after his suspension and played 29 minutes, put up 15 field goal attempts, do you mind, and had 40 DK points. Smash play, 5,700, no Lillard, shots everywhere, and peripheral stats for Portis. I love this price. Kevin Porter Jr., just want to red flag this one for you, 4,800. Guy's been cooking, and in fact, he still had 40 DK points in the last one, 42 DK points versus Minnesota, in fact. Just watched it. His minutes came way back down with Portis back in 25 minutes and scoring 42 DK points is a massive red flag for me. I won't be playing Kevin Porter Jr. here. The last game of the day and of my snack size DFS season, Minnesota Timberwolves taking on Memphis. I love this one. This is a bit of a standings battle. Both of these teams locked up in that Western, or not locked up. They're in that battle from about 5th position to 8th position, 9th position in the standings, trying to stay out of the play-in. So I like this one. Minnesota taking on Memphis. Minnesota will get the pace bump. There's nothing on the injury report for the Wolves yet. Anthony Edwards is one of my favorite plays here. He's up there with Trae Young at that higher price, but I do like Ant Edwards here at 9,400. It's a pace-up spot. It's a great spot for Ant. I'm game scripting here a little bit. I expect this to be a fiery, fast battle, and that's a perfect spot where we can play Anthony Edwards, who needs to push his team, hopefully, out of the play-in for Wolves fans. Julius Randle, 7,200. His last 3 games have been disappointing, mid-20 DK points. I still love this price for Randle. I will still continue to drop Randle into lineups when I see him at this price. Dude is capable of 40 DK points, 45 any given night. I will continue to hope that Randle has a bounce-back game at some point here at 7,200. And the last guy for the Wolves here for me, Rudy Gobert, 6,700. As mentioned previously in the last few shows, beating up on teams where the centers give up fantasy points, and rightly so, but he's been doing it at a high level. I did warn you guys about the Milwaukee matchup, and he absolutely sucked in that one for DK scoring. But we're now back to facing the Memphis Grizzlies, where the center position gives up fantasy points on the regular. So I like Rudy Gobert for a bounce back here at 6,700. Only 2 guys I'm interested in here for Memphis going back the other way. I'm not really looking at Desmond Bane or Jaren Jackson Jr. here at their pricing. It is a fairly tough matchup versus the Wolves. The 2 guys I have my eye on, based on pricing, Ja Morant at 9K is just a great price for Ja. He has been cooking this anyway. And once again, we're in this positional standoff placing battle. I expect this to be an excellent game. I'm going to put aside a couple of hours to watch this one for sure. So therefore, I like Ant and I like Ja on the other side of the ball. I'll probably lean into Ant in my lineups more than Jar, just based on the matchup and also the pace up bump for Minnesota. But I have no issues playing Jar Morant here at 9K. The only other guy for the Grizzlies that I'm looking at is Zach Edey, 5,500. Yeah, I mean, he could burn you and have an absolute shocker where Taylor Jenkins just decides to play him only 19 minutes. That's possible, but on recent history, 5,500 is just too cheap for Zach Edey. He has had 40 DK points plus in 3 of his last 4 games, so that value is fairly obvious. Jalen Wells. Now, that was a horrible fall for Jalen Wells. It was nice to see. I can't remember the Charlotte player's name. Apologies. It was KJ Simpson. Hop on Twitter and actually apologize for that and say he meant nothing by it. But all thoughts and well wishes with Jalen Wells. Jalen Wells out does open up a potential starting spot for one of the other Grizzlies guys. So you could take stabs at Santi Aldama at 5,300, Luke Kennard at 3,300, and Vince Williams Jr. at 3,400. The guy for me there is probably Luke Kennard. That guy at 3,300, if he gets a start or even gets minutes in the high 20s, will be an excellent proposition for our lineups. My last favorite plays for the 24-25 snack size DFS season. I love this spot for Mikal Bridges with Anunoby and Hart out versus Detroit. I love both Cleveland guys, Ty Jerome and DeAndre Hunter taking on Indiana with all those outs. Pascal Siakam versus Cleveland. I love both Trae Young and Onyeka Okongwu versus Brooklyn. Carlo Matkovic versus Milwaukee for a value play. Bobby Portis back the other way versus the Pelicans. I love the higher price guys of Ant Edwards and Randall versus Memphis. And I love the price for Zach Edey taking on the Minnesota Timberwolves. Oh, wow. That's a screen that shouldn't be there. Hey, it wouldn't be a snack size DFS if I made some kind of blunder with my presentation. Let's just get rid of that. That is it for snack size DFS for the 24-25 season. As I said, thank you so much for your support. I hope to be back bigger, better, stronger, faster, something Daft Punk like that for the 25-26 season. Thank you, Dan Besbris, for having me on board this year and for doing all of my intros, outros, and please follow the Old Man Squad Network. And myself, I'm at Terrain72 on the socials. And that is it for me for this season, guys. Thank you so much. Back to Dan in the studio.
It occurs to me I have a lot of colors in what I'm wearing on today's show. And yes, this does say Camp Onawana. I don't know if you guys remembered. Salute your shorts. It's a long time ago. Thanks, Brenton, for an incredible, incredible season. I wish I could be louder, but my kids are asleep a room and a half over. So I have to do the sort of like NPR excitement level voice. Brenton, I owe you so much. Fantastic work. Thank you for everything you've built here at Old Man Squad. I can't wait to see you again next year. And who knows, maybe he'll come out of retirement for a playoff DFS slate. You guys will poke and prod him, right? Make sure to subscribe, like, rate, and review, all that good stuff. Check him out on Twitter at Terrain72. I'm Dan Besbris. So much coming up here at Old Man Squad Sports Network, including the great Noah Rubin bringing his Dynasty content to our channel all off season long. We'll have my show all off season long. We'll have Kingy's show all off season long. This is as good a time as any to join up and enjoy us here at Old Man Squad. Thanks again to Brenton from the bottom of my heart for an incredible first year with us here. Thank you to you guys for watching. Win some cash. We'll see you guys soon. So long for now.